Chord is great. We love Chord. But did you know that Chord is a wavetable synth? I'm sure you know that you can scan a bank, and then after you've chosen a bank, you can scan through the waveform. But what's your understanding of what wavetables are? And more importantly, have you ever imported your own wavetables into Chord? What's this SD card for? If you're curious about either of these topics, then this video is for you. When you use a traditional oscillator, you're synthesizing a waveform. But with wavetable synthesis, you're using a pre-written or recorded sample as the source for the sound. And wavetables are interesting because they use 64 samples that you can scan through, producing a wide range of pitches and timbres. And you can dance around those and use them in really creative ways. You can scan through them slowly with a smooth LFO and make a beautiful drone. Wavetables are awesome, and I've been a fan for years. Let's play with WaveEdit a little bit and look at some of the possibilities. This is WaveEdit, and it was given generously to the world for free from Synthesis Technology. Thank you very much. The link to download WaveEdit is below, and on the same link as that download, there's a set of videos on how to use WaveEdit that are really well done. So I won't be going super deep today, but we'll get into some basic concepts here to at least get you off and running. First thing is that I think the screen is really bright, and I always switch it to, there's a couple different color settings, but I like this one, Soul. It's kind of like a dark mode. So when we're talking about wavetables, without any movement or modulation, a wavetable synth is really no different than a sample-based synth that reads a static waveform. So I'm going to press play here. And I think I'm going to turn the frequency down a little so it's not so high-pitched and annoying. So you can see that this little dot over here on the left, this shows the slot that we're listening to. You can click around. But you see all these stacked frames here of this wavetable. And these allow you to transform from one wave shape to another as you can scan through them. Right? So when you're modulating a wavetable, you can do it at any speed which you can modulate from stepped voltage to a smooth LFO. So if you want to hear how this works, you can turn up the morph speed here, the Z-axis speed. Just turn this up a little, and you can see that ball on the left starts moving. So it's morphing through the Z plane. And you'll see it. I'll scroll, with it here a little bit. You can see it scrolling through all 64 slots of this wavetable. And yeah, you can turn it up fast and have it modulate really fast. So this is why wavetables can be so popular for doing drone synthesis, is because you can set them to drone really slowly and beautifully and scan through this wavetable. All right, so let's start fresh and let's go File, New. Let's go New Bank. All right, and I'm going to press Stop, or I'll unpress Play. There's parts of this program that are really simple, and parts of them are kind of different, so I'll just kind of step you through some of it here. Okay, so in slot 0, it starts at 0, even though there's 64 banks, it goes up to 63, and it's because it starts on 0. It's just the way that it is. In this first bank, we're going to use this pencil tool here. There's a couple tools you can draw with, and you can draw whatever you want in this waveform. And there's a couple different styles of working here. Brush is much smoother. Grab means you can grab just a little piece of frequency, I guess. All right, and you can draw lines. You can erase, which just brings you back to the center. So let me just draw a couple moves in here. Then I'll press play. And I'm going to turn down morph. So it's just going to camp right on 0 here. So now while it's playing, you can design like this. You can kind of steer it around and make the sound what you're thinking of. Let's clear. There's also all these kind of waveform styles here. So there's all these digital styles. There's these analog styles. Ooh. FM styles. And of course, glitch styles. Alright, so I'm going to clear that. So let's just draw something within like this. And then if you were going to design all 64 slots of this wavetable, you just go to the next slot right here, and you just draw that one in. Okay, so I'm not going to draw all 64 in right now, but I'll show you another way you can work too, which is pretty cool. You see WaveEdit online here, right? So this is connected to a huge repository of wavetables that people have made and uploaded, and that you can download or you can import and turn into your own. So we're gonna do one of those, and I'll go load bank. So now in the waveform editor, you see that all 64 slots are populated. All right, I'll press play, and I'll turn up speed so it'll start to morph through these. You can see it morphing there on the left. That's a pretty sweet little feedback wavetable going on there. You can turn the frequency down to imagine what it might sound like tuned down in your software or in your module. I'm just going to turn this way down here, have it go really slow. I think it's important to note that the key differences between different wavetable synths is in the way that you can play back and modulate the wavetable. Like with Chord, you can read the wavetable in a linear line, like how we're seeing here. And wavetable synths are all about movement and modulation. So you can turn up Z and make it move faster through this. And when you're editing with wavetables, it's great to have an editor like this so that you can see them in a lot of different ways. Like here's the grid XY view. You can stop, just hone in on certain ones and edit them. And my favorite is the waterfall view. And you can actually grab it and stop it. You can scroll back and forth and understand what's happening where and why. There's also, in WaveEdit, there's all these effect editors. So I'm gonna stop. We're just gonna slow down morph speed here. So we're on this one right here. And in the effect editor, you can change a lot. You can add filters, ring modulation. You can just bring them up in certain frequencies. You can wavefold. You can sample and hold. You can quantize, slew limiting, low pass filters. There's all these things you can do per waveform. If you want to, you can select all with Control A on Windows, Command A on a Mac. You can right click and randomize all the effects for every one of those. So now look at our wavetable. So let's turn the speed up. So this might not work so great as a droning oscillator anymore with all these different waveforms, but I think it would work great as a glitchy oscillator where instead of scrolling through these, you were actually addressing all of these different wave shapes with CV, either through a CV sequencer or with sending random stepped voltage. So there's another thing you can do with wavetables and really easily using WaveEdit. You can import your own audio. So I've made a little audio clip that sounds like this. Digital meets analog. So you click on import and you browse for that file. And you can see that it's populating all 64 slots here. You can choose where you want to edit and come in. So I'm going to come in right at the top there. All right, I'm going to import. And so now in the waveform editor, if I press play,
digital meets analog. Digital meets analog. Digital meets analog.
Digital meets analog. Digital meets
Analog. Digital meets analog. Digital meets analog. Digital meets
so you can start to see the possibilities.
meets analog. Digital meets
We'll definitely play with this one in Chord.
analog.
So then the way that you would export this is File, Save Bank As. That's the original wave. So let's call it Digital Meets Analog Wavetable, WT. And that file is 32K. It's very small, and all of that is contained in that. Another example of using audio with a wavetable, I found one on online here where they had used this drum kit. This one here. Drum kit rendered in an extremely lo-fi fashion. Play at about 65 hertz. All right, so let's load bank. And then go to waveform editor, play. And they said to play it at 60. So again, imagine the ways which you could access all of these different waveforms with CV. You could actually play chord like a drum machine. Suddenly you have a decent kick drum, a decent hi-hat, and some funky percussion stuff, which you could access really precisely using CV. So here we are in Chord, and I took the WAV file that I exported from WaveEdit, copied it onto the SD card. And the way that you access the user banks, which you can copy to the card, is you hold down Mode for 3 seconds. So let's attach root to our output here. Let's turn that up on the mixer.
Digital meets analog. Digital meets analog. Digital meets analog.
So you can come down right to the grains of these. Just use them like single cycle waveforms. And just sequence that like a voice. Or you could scan through waveform. Amazing. Did you ever think Chord would be sounding like this? All right, let's set up a simple CV sequence coming from Bloom. All right, I got to hear this happen. I'll turn the rate up a little bit here. Let's put it right about in the middle, like there. I'll take out from channel 1 into wave. All right, and I'm going to put it on note mode, shift notes. If you're not familiar with that, please look at our Bloom video that I'll link right above right now. And I can scroll through these voltages very intentionally and specifically. This is what I was talking about earlier. So I'm scanning through that wavetable here. And on each of these 8 steps, I can choose a specific voltage to be accessing that wavetable. So now if I go into free running mode here, shift and notes, everybody's head is bobbing right about now. Yeah. In this example, we're going to use that wavetable that we found in WaveEdit, that feedback sounding one. I'll just slowly sweep it. Gorgeous. So in the previous example, we used Bloom to skip all around that wavetable and give us kind of a glitchy access to all those little points. But I think it'd be nice to send this one a really slow LFO to sweep the whole waveform. Alright, so I'm going to leave it in the middle like that. And then from Bloom, this is a great technique, Bloom users, here you go. We're going to set up a really slow LFO. So I'm going to have the root note be the lowest note here. And then I'm just going to set up a simple little ladder arpeggio going up the notes. All right, so I'm going to go shift. I'm going to go into note mode. And I'm just going to give these a little more voltage, every one. So if we were using this for volt per octave, you would hear it going higher. But in this case, I'm just using the voltage just to step through this. And then maybe at the top is the highest one. So then shift notes. So we're hearing it play through, but hear how it's kind of banging? So I'm going to add a global slew over all of these steps. So shift, and I'm just going to rotate slew until the highest option right there. But see how when it hits the end, and it kind of bangs as it resets. So let's change the play order so it's going in a pendulum mode. Okay, so shift order. It's going forward, backward, pendulum. Random actually might be kind of fun too. Anyway, let's stay focused. So here's pendulum. So I'd like to slow it down more. So shift, divide, multiply. And let's go down. Let's see how that one plays. Nice. There's your slow sine wave LFO. Slowly scanning through our wavetable. Add a bit of reverb. And life is good. And then you can use this almost like an offset now. You can change the area which you're scanning through. So we're only going to reach into the very bottom half here now. So this is nice as a drone, but if you were sending this through an envelope and VCA and hitting the volt per octave, maybe with another channel of bloom, your melody would be going through as this scan was going through of the whole wavetable also. Awesome. So I couldn't resist, I had to do this. So here's channel 2 in bloom, the green channel, triggering cascade as a VCA and envelope, and channel 2 in bloom, giving chord volt per octave. So you can hear the awesome melody in addition to the wavetable being scanned. Look for a new collection of user wavetables that you can download off our site. The link will be below. I created a whole set for you so you can have fun with those or have fun making your own wavetables. If you do, make sure you link to us so that we know what you're up to out there. And if you haven't already, this would be a great time to subscribe to our site. Just hit the subscribe button below and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you'll be aware of when we upload new videos to our channel. Thanks for watching.